Experience the evolution of accuracy with the new Browning X-Bolt 2. Guys, this rifle is something else. With the introduction of the X-Bolt, Browning has set a new standard in the development of bolt-action rifles. It was created around the goal of total accuracy, where every component worked in unison to improve downrange performance straight out of the box, from windswept tundras to rocky peaks high above the tree line to African plains and everywhere in between. The X-Bolt delivered the tack-driving accuracy a Browning rifle is respected for. And that's super true, guys. I really like this rifle from a standpoint of, like, it's not super heavy, it's not super light. I put a really nice scope on it. I love that Veritech stock because that is like one of those pieces of accuracy that, that interface between the rifle and the shooter. Not everybody's the same size. The DLX trigger, you can get the plus magazine system for extra rounds. Great all-around rifle in the field. For those of you that are looking for a rifle this year to take to the field that you can feel real confident in and get really comfortable with, this is the rifle to check out. The Browning X-Bolt 2 should be one of your top contenders. Link is in the show notes. Back a couple months ago, I did an episode with Brandon Maddox, who is the founder and owner of Silencer Central. You should listen to that episode. It's episode 197. I love this company, I love this brand, and I love the American-made product that Silencer Central produces. I use the Banish 30 on my hunting rifle, and if you guys follow me on Instagram and you saw that video I put together, you'll see that it's not like what Hollywood portrays it as. It's not like it silences the rifle down into nothing. But it makes a huge difference. Like, my ears don't ring when I shoot. The animals don't know where the shot is coming from. It disorients the sound. And Silencer Central makes it super easy for you guys. Jump on to silencercentral.com and pick one out. You could ship your rifle to them. They'll thread your barrel. They'll ship it back. This is like a 10-day process. And the ATF process is shortened significantly. It's like down to 48 hours or less. It's the best time ever to get a silencer on your weapon, and you should check it out because it really is a game changer. SilencerCentral.com is where you can find them, or you can call 866-891-4494, and they're happy to answer questions. It's crazy. They actually have people that answer their phone. Again, guys, go to SilencerCentral.com. It's one of my favorite sponsors out there. These guys are just absolutely world-class with these world-class products, and I can't recommend putting a silencer on your hunting rifle enough. Save your ears, disorient the sound in case you need another shot. I mean, it's a game changer, folks. Check it out. There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Tine studio right here in Northwest Montana. And happy, early May? What is it, May? Day past Cinco de Mayo. I'm going to put this episode out pretty quick, but guys, thanks for tuning in. This week, I've got a couple things going on. A couple quick announcements first to get us started, but we're going to have this episode and a School of September coming out this week. So make sure you're tuning into that because here it is May. It's going to be elk season like before we know it. The other thing is, guys, at the outfitter that I guide for, we have a guide school, and I wanted to just kind of any of you, because sometimes I get like emails, hey, I'd love to be in the hunting industry in one way or the other. And I always tell them, the best way to do that is to become a guide. So if you've ever had a hankering to become a guide, and you want to do that and kind of pursue that life, I love it. Highly recommend it. But it gets you in the field a lot. But our Big Sky Packer and Guide School at Elk Creek Outfitting offers a 4-week guide school that is going to walk you through how to pack horses, how to cook on cast iron, and how to call elk, and how to locate deer, and how to find bears, and how to break these animals down once they are down, and just overall how to be a guide. And it makes it so that, basically when somebody goes through this guide school, there is 100% placement at an outfitter, and it doesn't have to be this outfitter. It could be anywhere in the country, but you will be a licensed guide. You'll have like your first aid certifications and all the stuff that's needed to be a guide. And if you guys are interested in that, they've got one school going right now, and that one's full, obviously, and it started this last weekend. But they're because of all the interest, they have been thinking about putting together another course in either June or August. But in order to do that, they want to make sure it's more than 3 or 4 people, and so it maxes out at like 12 guys or gals. Right now we have a gal in it doing it. She's like a grassland researcher too. So pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So anyway, it ties in real nicely for what she's doing. But if you guys are interested in that, hit me up. The best way is either jim@thewesternhuntsman.com. That's my email, or you can go to like Instagram and send me one of those DMs. I try to keep up with all those emails, guys. If I don't answer you, bear with me. I do periodically go back and try to scroll through those. But those are the two kind of best ways to reach out, and just put like in the subject line guide school or something like that, and I'll get you in touch with the right people. It's about $5,500. It's a 4-week course. That includes all your lodging, all your certifications, all your food, everything. You stay at the lodge. It's a big commitment, and it's a very serious school, and you will come out of there with a ton of new knowledge. So anybody interested in that, especially you young buckaroos ready to go start a career as a guide, hit me up about that. So anyway, there's that. So guys, this week I've got my buddy Kevin Hardman on the show, and he is the treasurer at the Panhandle Chapter of the National Wild Turkey Foundation. Did I say that right?
Federation, close.
Federation. I knew when I said that it didn't sound right. I'm like, wait a minute. It's not foundation. National Wild Turkey Federation, and this is a new chapter in the Panhandle, North Idaho. They've got a cool banquet coming up. And so anyway, I thought it'd be cool to get Kevin on and kind of chew some fat about hunting and his background, and turkeys and elk and deer and bear and everything else that we pursue. So Kevin, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you joining me.
Thanks, man. Happy to be on and chatting with you as always. It's always fun to talk with you, but it's cool to do it on this format. And I appreciate the plug for the National Wild Turkey Federation Panhandle Chapter. We just started last year, so it's pretty fledgling outfit. But Banquet last year brought in a little over 100 people, so that was pretty good, I think, for kicking it off. And our next one here is coming up Friday, May 16th. Doors open at 5:30, and it's kind of a fun event. Like we always try and have a gun to give away in one man or another for every 10 people that are there. Of course, you can always buy a table, which is 8 seats as well. And each one of those, from the $800 table all the way up to the diamond level $3,500 table, comes with a choice of a myriad of guns, safes, coolers, whatever you want to
Nice.
choose off that list that you get, which is there's some pretty cool stuff on there, like get a shotgun, rifle, and pistol on some. I mean, it's pretty wild. And then we do some games there. Prime rib dinner this year, which is always good. And then you got your raffles, which go on throughout the night, and then they auction those off, or pass those off at the end. And then there's the live auction as well for some of the bigger ticket items, like the dub trip to Argentina, which is always a big hitter. Usually scopes, couple guns, and all kinds of beautiful artwork and stuff. Pretty fun.
God, that's awesome. I just to like tell everybody a little trade secret about winning these things at the banquets. These new ones, like this new chapter in the Panhandle, your odds of winning big stuff go way up. And
Huge.
it's huge, man. When they started that Mule Deer Foundation chapter in North Idaho, I went to that banquet. My wife and I went to that banquet, and I cleaned house, man. I got like a $2,500 safe for $600 because it was that live auction. You know, the guy
Yeah.
going
It,
against the auctioneer up there. So finally I was the highest bidder on it. He looked at me. He's like, "You realize you just got the deal of the century, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, man."
yeah.
And but
Last year, even myself, there was one of the custom made scopes that are made for your rifle and your caliber and, your grain and everything. And it's like a $3,000 scope and no one wanted to bid on it. I ended up getting it for $500.
oh,
And,
that's a
I mean, that
smoking
made
deal.
my night right there. And one
Heck
other
yeah.
gal, she won 3 guns. And like, to your point, with only about 100 people or so there, it's like, you go to a Rocky Mountain Elk or something along those lines, and these guys got hundreds of people there, and your chances
Hmm.
dwindle. So on these, you're absolutely right. You could do real well if you're willing to come in and play the game.
And not to mention like those bigger banquets, those bigger like foundations, they draw in those high dollar folks that have like just money coming out their ears, and they're using this thing as like this tax write-off deal,
Yep.
and so you go to a Rocky Mountain Elk thing, and I'm not ragging on them, but I mean, come on,
Yep.
they'll have like a birthday cake up there that auctions off for $3,500. And it's because these high rollers roll in there, and they just
Yeah.
jack up all the prices, where these smaller, newer chapters of whatever name your foundation, or federation in this case,
Yeah.
you don't have that aspect of it. And so I really like, I wish I can make it, man. I'm gonna still
I know it.
There's still a small chance I could swing down there for at least a banquet.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah,
can save you a seat at my table, and you're definitely, if you can squeeze it, we will get you in there for sure. It'd just be
man,
great to have you down there. But to your point again, I mean, you really can play the game a lot better at these ones. Granted, for the big outfits, when you have those heavy hitters, it means a lot. They make a
yeah,
ton of money off them. It's
good for
really good for the.
conservation. Yep.
It's so good. But for us, we just don't have that. And this isn't a super rich area here in the Panhandle zone anyway. So, people come in fairly timid on some of the things, which gives you a better option. But, to your
Hmm.
point, I had gone to a DU in California, and I was like, oh man, I really want a Beretta Silver Pigeon. They had a real nice one
Oh,
engraved with
nice.
some birds on it. And some guy paid, like 10,000 over retail.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm like, what? I guess I'm out.
Holy smokes, man. Yeah, some of the money that gets spent at those things. That expo, the Hunt Expo down in Salt Lake a couple years ago, some dude, some dude bought a deer tag for over 700 grand. And it's a good tag. I'm not, not but like, even if I had that kind of money, I don't know if I could justify that, other than in his mind, he's doing it for,
Yeah.
conservation, and that money goes. You don't see PETA raising that kind of money that actually directly goes to wildlife management and conservation efforts. So that's why it's cool. So is it going to be
If I
like
were rich, I'd do it too, Jim.
Oh, me too. Yeah, yeah. I keep thinking one day I'm going to win the lottery, but
Yeah.
apparently you have to actually buy the tickets in order to win, and I never do that. I never even think to do that.
That's an annoying caveat.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I should just get a phone call. Hey, you won the lottery.
Yeah, you're a good dude. Here's some cash.
You cheap bastard. You didn't buy any of the tickets, but you won. But no, that's great, man. Is it at what Kootenai Fairgrounds or
No, no need to go that big. We're at a hotel down in Coeur d'Alene, right off the Freeway 95 there in Appleway, and it's
cool?
super super low key. Nice thing is with them, there's like a series of rooms that we can kind of expand upon. So if enough people come, we can keep kicking it up a little bit bigger, as long as we know ahead of time. But obviously, we're looking at 10 days away at this point, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like get in now or forever hold your peace.
You know what I'm curious about, Kevin, is like when you think about foundations and federations and these wildlife conservation organizations like NWTF. People think when they think like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, we think elk, we think bear, we think deer. There's another great organization here, F4WM, Foundation for Wildlife Management, which is centered around kind of reimbursing the trappers that get out there and get some of these wolves under control. They just had their banquet, and I couldn't make that one either. I was upset. But anyway, when you think about all those organizations, what kind of brought on the idea of a turkey organization for North Idaho? Where did that come from? Are you like a turkey
So
nut?
there apparently there was a chapter up here by a different name, but in the Panhandle region some time ago. Fizzled out. Don't really know why, but the guy Jason Tarwater with National Wild Turkey, who has this whole area up here and all around Washington, Montana, and all surrounding zones. He was trying to reach out and get a chapter started out here. I originally came from California. That's where I grew up. You can't choose where you're born. Uh,
Yeah,
but
very true.
when we came up here some years back, I've always been a turkey hunter, and I didn't even get started in hunting, to be honest, until like 2012. No one in my family did it. It just wasn't, where we grew up wasn't a huge thing. But once I got in, I fell in love and was going. And one of the things I just love more than anything is really turkey hunting. The calling in spring, getting a gobbler fired up, getting them where they come spitting and putting at you is just a super cool, fun adventure. So I was looking around trying to figure out where I was going to turkey hunt up here. Obviously, a little bit harder chasing Merriam's than it is Rios in California. They're a little easier to pattern down there, obviously. But for up here, I was like, oh man, what are we going to do? And so a guy had reached out, Jason, and said, hey, would you be interested in, because you're a member with National Wild Turkey, you're up here in the Panhandle. Would you be interested in maybe helping start a chapter? And I said, oh, geez, I'm strapped for time. I'm super busy all the time. My work has me traveling everywhere. And they said, but I'd be willing to put in what I can. And he's like, yeah, I got another guy who does, cabinets out here that's looking to do it too. And I was like, you're not talking about Brett Penske, are you, with Boom Built? And he goes, yeah, you know him. I go, heck yeah, I do. So that
Yeah,
kind of sealed the deal for me. I was like, oh, going into it with a friend, that's going to make it easy. And obviously you kind of know that story too, because
yeah.
his brother Brad, who's my neighbor out here too. So Brad Penske, great dude also.
Oh, Brad's your neighbor? I
Brad is, and
I
Brett's
didn't know that.
over down in Coeur d'Alene. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Brad, he's off on a fishing slash turkey hunting escapade right now.
They
I don't want
just
to.
got back.
Oh,
He
did he
and
get
Boone
back?
went. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
to Dvorak Reservoir, and I've been blessed to be added into the group with the Penskes on that one. I couldn't make it this time because I was gone all of quarter 1 working, and so
yeah.
there's only so much the wife and family can handle when you're traveling so much. So I have some responsibilities to drag in, but yeah, I've been
Hmm.
able to go on that trip a couple times with them. That's a kick. They got some nice fish, couple birds. It's a good deal all around.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Brad, he's like, you should come with us, man. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, the timing is like terrible. Because I would love to do that. I'd love like a turkey slash fishing combo type trip, you know?
Cast and
And
blast. That's what
yeah,
they
the
call it,
cast and
man.
blast.
That's
That's
the
right.
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gosh, that'd
Yeah.
be a heck of a time. So
Well,
Brad, if you're listening,
you'll have to make it to one of
uh,
the trips because it
yeah.
always seems to land on my wife's birthday and my anniversary. And if I can make it,
Oh, oh man, that's risky. You just take off on the old anniversary and birthday weekend, huh?
I know I got to take all the guns with me.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Man, that's great. No, I love stuff like that. I used to back in Utah growing up, we had up at Strawberry Lake every year there was this kind of a fishing opener weekend, like real traditional stuff, they're men only. You had to be at least 16 and your first year you were kind of the camp bitch and everybody you had to kind of get everybody's beer or clean their fish or
Yeah.
whatever. But at
General
the end,
hazing.
general hazing. But at the end, everybody there would vote who the rookie of the year was, and the rookie of the year got like $5 from everybody there, and they'd come out of there with a few $100. And
Nice.
I lost when I was a rookie. I lost by like a little bit, and I was
Oh,
almost there, but some other kid beat me. I was pretty sideways about it because I wanted that money.
you're
But
dead to
anyway,
me.
yeah, 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 pretty much. You're dead to me from now on. But they still do it too. It's a pretty cool little event. But I love stuff like that, little traditional things, that helps keep the spirit of just hunting and fishing and camaraderie and all that alive, you know. And
100%. Something to look forward to when otherwise you're like I said before, mired by work at all times.
yeah, exactly.
To get something that can get you out is just it's a treat, something to chipper you up a little bit and know like, oh man, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kevin, tell me a little bit about your background. How'd you grow up, and how'd you get into hunting? You said you didn't get into hunting until about 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And now here you are, an operating board member of one of the organizations, one of the main organizations throughout the country for wild turkeys, and out there slaying. What?
Yeah,
A little bit.
it was a meteoric ride.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I grew up in the Bay Area, California. I'm part of a glazing legacy, as I like to say, glass and windows. I'm fourth generation in that. My great grandfather, God, he got his journeyman card, I think, in 1892.
Oh
So
wow, really?
it's been forever for us. They opened the first shop in 1911, and my dad subsequently opened one and ran it at the same time my grandpa was running that shop. So I worked between the two of them. And then after college, he and I started one in 2000, moved into oversized, historic, custom high end residential stuff. And when he retired, I started my newest entity and kind of been doing it now all over the country. We've installed product from working on 14 countries now across 25 states, and
Wow.
it's um, it's pretty wild. It's been a crazy ride on that aspect. So super fun. I love the trade. I'm pretty heavily involved. Work on some task force for the National Glass Association and do what I can for that trade. We got a little presence on LinkedIn. Not that that matters, but to us it means something. So it's
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
when you go to the trade shows and people kind of know who you are. That's always a kick in the pants. But California in general is such a large. I still do a lot of work there. Such a large amount of work, a lot of money. It makes what we were doing super simple and a little closer to home. But as money's gotten bigger and the rich have gotten richer, and now these billionaires, in order to do tax diversion, super smart. If you have the money, kind of like
Yeah.
buying in, like you were saying, to prizes at the federations and foundations, but they buy properties and build homes, and that's how they can do write-offs on the ledger. So we kind of follow them wherever they go, whether it's Hawaii or Montana or Colorado or Texas. Doesn't really matter. We'll follow these guys around to do that. But as this became the model, and COVID had hit, our family we kind of felt like outcasts a little bit in California. Obviously, depends on what part of the area you are, but in the Bay Area, we were certainly you know. Some of the few on the conservative side, and we just decided, I've always wanted to be up in this part of Idaho or some part of Idaho because I went to school, University of Oregon, and we travel up here as with the guys to hang out on off time. And I was like, someday I gotta move out there, and we were able to finally make it happen, and that was a real treat. So just being
Nice.
up here has been a huge change for the family, great for the kids. And I mean, hunting wise, it certainly doesn't hurt. Back to the main topic of a conversation, because when I got started in California, there was a couple buddies of mine who helped me around. They were friends of my wife. My buddy Eddie had gone to high school with my wife, and he was the one. He's like, "Oh yeah, we'll show you around." I started deer hunting with him. Then I started turkey hunting. Then he's like, "Man, you got to get into ducks if you like action." So we hit the ducks, and I was like, "Holy smokes!" And then it windfalls right after
Oh
that.
yeah.
It's quail and pheasant and dove, and you're like, "Oh man, what else do we got?" And it's like, "Okay, let's find some bears. Let's find
Oh,
this, that, and the
nice.
other." But in California, getting an elk tag's almost impossible. You'll never get like moose. They already really hard on you on how they hunt bear, and even deer season. They have you hunt early August when it's 100 degrees. It's just a nightmare out there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
coming up here has really broadened it up for me. I got my first cow elk last year, my first antelope last year. So it's just been an absolute gold mine coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting topic. Which, by the way, I did not know they even had journeyman cards back in the 1800s. I had to
They
get that off my
called it a
chest,
Q
but
card.
oh wow, interesting. So, But yeah, it's always an interesting conversation because North Idaho, there's always this thing where all the Californians have moved in and taken over everything, I lived in Coeur d'Alene down in that area, and it did get
Yeah,
crowded, man. But that's why I'm up here in little old Heron, Montana,
I love it, man.
but at the same side of that, it could be obnoxious to the locals, but at the same side,
Yeah,
if you lived in California and had this passion for hunting and had was kind of like conservative minded, you didn't buy into like some of the psychotic liberalism that comes out of and wokeness that comes out of California. I don't blame him for moving. Like I'd leave too.
yeah.
I
Well,
can't.
and the thing is, we left there because we're more like-minded with the folks up here. It's
Yeah.
not, I'm not bringing now. Granted, that does happen. Look at Boise as a prime example. There are some that kind of vote to ruin stuff and then move and do it again, almost like
Mm-hmm.
a virus of a sort.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super frustrating. And I certainly wouldn't want that to see that happen as well. But it's just for us, we wanted to go somewhere where we fit in more and they had, people that like to do the things that we do and think the way that we do. So it was just nice to be
Yeah.
able to leave that behind. So, I mean, really, to be honest, my kids now, which is really funny, they'll see a California plate and they're like, "Ugh, what are they doing here?"
You're raising them right, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I think that I think that leftism that again, I'm not talking about like your normal American Democrat. I am
yeah.
talking about the woke, psychotic
Progressive.
leftism, progressivism. That there's nothing progressive about it.
Yeah.
I think it's just natural to like big urban areas. Like you were talking about
Yep.
Boise.
100%.
Boise's really grown, man. Like it is not like it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, we just went down to Salt Lake for my daughter's archery tournament,
Oh,
and
nice.
we spent I don't know, about a week down there seeing family and whatnot. But Salt Lake City is completely different than when I grew up in like the 80s
Yeah.
and the 90s. There's back then all the towns in the valley were separated.
Yeah.
I grew up in Draper, Utah, which was
Okay.
on the south side of the valley, and it was like a trek, an adventure to go to Salt Lake City, right? Well, now it's all connected.
Yeah.
And it was like intimidating for me too, man. I live in a town of like less than 250 people. And so we go down there. I rent this Airbnb on Redwood Road, and which is a busy road in Salt Lake. And just hearing the traffic, the constant traffic, like where the hell are these people going at 3 o'clock in the morning? The air brakes and the jets flying and the
Yeah.
sirens
The
going off
garbage
and the
trucks. Oh my
honks and
gosh.
the
Yeah.
garbage trucks and the semis and the constant construction equipment everywhere. It's like I almost was getting almost a level of anxiety built up.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and then I was looking it up, man. This might blow your mind. I was looking it up. In the Salt Lake Valley alone, there are more people than the entirety of the state of Montana. And so like that is mind-boggling because you could
Yeah.
see the whole valley when you're in the Salt Lake Valley. You can see the whole thing. And there's more people there than all of Montana. I was
Well,
blown
and
away.
we joke too. I mean, just take San Jose, California, which is not one of the mega cities per se, because everyone thinks San Francisco and Los Angeles, but San Jose is huge. There's like 2.2 million people. That's more than the state of Idaho in that
Mm-hmm.
one city. I
I
mean,
know, man.
it's bananas.
It's bananas. I
Yeah.
mean, I always think of that. Remember Crocodile Dundee when we were
Yeah.
like kids and
That
that
ain't
the
the knife.
yeah, that show and the cab driver's telling Crocodile Dundee, "Oh yeah, there's like 20 million people that live here," and he's going, "This must be the friendliest place on earth then if all these people want to live together." And it's so funny that because that's how I felt like driving around Salt Lake in the traffic. I see why people are so angry. That's
Oh,
your life. I just
well, and to be honest, we're looking at it because there's three areas out there that the billionaires are starting to buy up and build out there now too. So
in
I'm probably
Utah.
going to be spending a hefty amount of time down there. But
Yeah,
I mean, to your point, with my work, I travel, like I said, quite a bit. So I end up in a lot of different cities, and it's that same thing. I just cannot wait to get home. Not
yeah.
only to see the family, of course, but like just to get away from the noise and the hustle and bustle and everyone in a panic to get everywhere and all pissed off. It's like, man, it just like feeds into you. I don't like it.
You know, back in the old days, there was this program called Layaway where you can go into like a store and start making payments on something, some high dollar ticket item. And once you paid that off every month, it was yours. You could take it home. That's how I bought my first deer rifle from the Marine Corps PX on Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. And it was the first, weapon that I bought that I purchased myself. It wasn't a hand-me-down. It wasn't my dad's. It wasn't anything like that. So I went and I picked out this 30-06, and I just didn't have a lot of money. And so I did the layaway program, but I needed a scope on it. And the cheaper scopes were all sold out. And so I bumped up to like this entry-level Leupold scope and put that on the layaway program and had them all, put the whole package together for me and all that. Made the payments and finally got to bring it home. Ever since then, almost every rifle I've owned has had a Leupold scope. In fact, I'm having a custom rifle built this year, and it's going to have the Leupold Mark 5 HD scope on it. I just killed a buffalo with that scope. It's a really great product. And Leupold, guys, you know them. Everybody knows Leupold. They've been around since like 1907. They started as like a special instrument company or something like that. But these American-made products are fantastic. Whether you're looking for a spotter, binos, a rifle scope, accessories, tripods, bipods, all that kind of stuff. You can find it all at Leupold.com. And I'd really appreciate if you supported this American company that has a great American story. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of a company, and I'm so happy and thrilled that they've chosen to partner with the Western Huntsman. Thanks to Leupold, and thanks to you guys for supporting our great sponsors. Yeah, I don't either. I couldn't do it. I don't care what somebody offered to pay me. I wouldn't. I look at it when I was down there. I have a roofing company, and it's like, man, look at all these roofs. Yeah, man, I could have like 10 crews going every day of the week. If I live down here or whatever, but which isn't the case. There's tons of roofing companies, so lots of competition or whatever. But that's what you think, But it's just not for me. It's not worth it. I'd rather stay kind of, half busy and scratching out a living here in Northwest Montana. I could do that. I can guide. I can, help out at this guy.
It's quality of life, Jim.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
that's a tangent in its own.
Yeah, the one nice thing about traveling around and also just like trying to get bigger in my trade and stuff is you meet a lot of people from a lot of different areas and you get to visit a lot of different areas. So I definitely make it a chance now to whoever I talk to just be like, what do you guys hunt out here?
Oh, do you?
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I've gotten to be able to hunt now and like Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, all these different spots where we go and work, you end up meeting like-minded people as you always find them. And that's been a real treat to be able to get out and do that stuff. And like I told you before, my goal this year, which is stupid and lofty, but is I want to harvest something every month. So it's like you start to plan stuff out and you go, man, where are the challenges going to be? But so far, knock on wood, I'm done. I'm all up through April. So now I gotta bag another turkey here, I think, for May to queue that one up. And then hopefully, next month you and I will be tiptoeing around looking for bears. But
we should, man, I'm telling you. And we should maybe we can convince Brad to tag along with us.
I know
we'll go out. Yeah, that'd be fun. I love bear. I was bear hunting last night with my daughter.
I know it.
And it's that time of year. I like your goal, man, because you do have that opportunity. And if you think that way, there's ways to make it happen. Like if you're in Texas in July, I always look at July like this.
Yeah.
It's like my wife and kids, I got to keep it down. It's like their favorite month. I hate it because there's nothing to hunt. All the seasons are closed.
Yeah.
And all they want to do, and I love going out on the boat. So we fish and, whatever. But, if you had that in your mind, this lofty goal, you could go to Texas and shoot. There's something Texas will let you shoot in July.
Oh, pigs, man. You can, pigs is always the filler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and hopefully this July, I do quite a bit of work in Hawaii across 4 of the islands. And so my crew out there they're born and raised in Oahu. all classic
Oh, really?
local guys, and all their uncles run dogs for pigs, and but you're only allowed to knife them because they're traditionalists, you know.
Really?
So that's my goal is July. I want to go. I went once last year. We just didn't get on any pigs. It just happened to be what it was. You know, we put in 8 miles of work for nothing, but outside of beautiful country and a lot of fun. But yeah, this year it'd be nice to take my shiny K bar and get out there and see if I can
Oh,
stick one.
man. That'd be bad. You literally stab the pig. That's
Yeah.
how you get them.
So yeah, so they cut like anywhere from 6 to 8 dogs loose, and when the dogs bam up and you hear them starting to call, you got to sprint up the hill and get to them quick so they don't get cut up, you know.
Uh-huh.
But they'll grab them by the snoot and by the ear, and they're shaking them up. So you come up and you dump them over off the back legs and get them right, between the legs on the front end and give it a little
Wow.
and listen to the squeals. It's pretty wild.
That puts the Western in the Western Huntsman, man. I need to try that. I would love that.
Well, I'll tell you this, if I can get it done this year and get to meet his uncle and get it kind of queued up, we'll get you out there for sure.
Oh man, I'll pay money to do that. That'd be a ball. So I'm going to Maui actually this month.
Oh,
And I
nice.
was gonna I was gonna book an access deer hunt
Yeah.
over there, and the problem is that season ends like the second day we get there,
Oh,
and so I should have looked at that then booked. But
yeah.
anyway, we're going with a bunch of family anyway, so it was that
Yeah.
was everybody's schedule. So, but I want to go back and do that access deer hunt over there with a bow.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Uh,
and they got the goats on Big Island too.
oh, do
So
they? Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be
you can
fun.
hunt goats out there. They got some pretty cool ones. So they're not super big, but it's fun island stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heck yeah. That'd be a blast. I like your goal, man. I like that goal. I'm gonna figure
Thank
out how
you.
I can kind of play that. Does fishing count? Like if you catch a big fish in July?
So that was the thing when I came up with it. I was like, if I get stuck, I may have to, you know what I mean? Because I
Mm-hmm.
know I can go get a fish and make sure I'm covered. Just
You
like you said,
could.
to go grab the boat. My wife and I loved it. I call my wife the trout slayer. We get out there and we get our limited trout most of the time we go out. We got a pretty good
Yeah.
system going, but it would be nice if I can keep it to more of the big game thing. That will be the goal, but you never know how things work out and shake out. But I did
Ah,
get to
man.
go this year. I mean, got ducks in California and a goose, so that was fun with my buddies that I always duck hunt with out there. February went to a good friend of mine. He allowed me on his family ranch in Texas, and they've got it's a really cool spot. But they get 25 deer tag a year
Holy crap, man.
because
Really?
yeah,
That
it's bananas. And then so they like to call out some of the funky looking deer and stuff. So I went out there and he's like, "Man, shoot everything you can get." I got 3 deer and 2 pigs. I mean, it was bananas. And he's like, "Hey, this is great. You're doing a great service for the ranch." And I was like, "Anytime?"
right? Did you get to take
You
the
know,
meat
it's
home?
like, holy cow. And then March, I got to go visit with a buddy of mine in Oklahoma. Who's a real close friend. We do a lot of work together. We're signing an actual contract for some labor help in Hawaii. Ironically enough, if we get a big job out there, and so we were kind of getting that hashed out. So same thing. Went out with him, and with them. You can do the silenced rifle night scope with his buddies out off the Jeep, and he runs a company on the side gig that's called Lights Out Recovery, and they've got these real expensive thermal drones. And so when
Yeah.
you down a deer and you can't find it, they'll fly over and find
Yeah, my
it
buddy
for you
does
out in the
that.
middle of the night.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Oh,
So
it's
they
amazing.
yeah, they went and wrestled up some pigs. So we went and shot some pigs, and it was just awesome. Then last month got my turkey here, and so far
Cool.
on pace.
Did you get to take all that meat home when you were down in Texas? You said on your buddy's ranch, the 3 deer
Yeah,
and
he'll
two
mail
pigs.
he'll just mail the stuff
Oh
to you. And then
man.
there's so much meat when you do it like that they
Uh-huh.
have a program out there that's Feed the Vets. And so
Oh,
for the
cool.
homeless veterans or the people running in and out of the shelters, you can donate that meat and they'll put it to real good use. And that certainly makes you feel really good.
Well,
Not leaving anything behind.
I got one. I keep thinking of like because July is my hang up month, right? But here we were just talking about when we were down in Salt Lake. So we went to Salt Lake. When we left, we had 11 chickens here, and when we got home, we have 2.
Oh,
So and I've got these Tacticams all over my camera, and the only thing I'm seeing are coyotes,
Oh
and
yeah,
they never come
that
on my
count.
property. Because of my dog, he keeps them off. But so they wiped out my chicken coop, which I'm pretty upset about. Like I feel guilty, man. It's my responsibility to make sure that they're safe, and
Yeah,
I did
protect
that.
the homestead,
Yeah,
man.
right. And I made this great little fortress for them, and that coyote got through some of the corner of this fencing, and it was like a weak spot that I didn't really know about. The other thing I didn't do is usually when I leave town, I set up this. I have like this DeWalt job site radio, and I put it either on
Ooh,
like a talk radio or like a rock radio or something, and I just leave that blasting right by the coop
like
the
the
whole
Western
time.
Huntsman podcast,
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You would think that would incite fear in wild animals, right? It doesn't. It doesn't. They don't care. They know I'm full of it. But anyway, I've got it. So now I've got this coyote that thinks it's cool to come in, and I was telling my pastor at church, he's got this SKS with this thermal imaging scope on it. And so he let me borrow it. I'm going to sit out there the next few nights to see if I can get that coyote. But if not, there's always coyote hunting. And
Right,
they're,
and that's a great point too, because that's another one, at
Mhm.
least near us, kind of like the pig situation, where
Yeah.
you always have an avenue to go out. Some of those primo calls or the Yelper calls you can turn on.
Oh,
If
yeah.
anything's in the area, they come tearing at you.
Yeah. I've got mine's called the Ugly Duck. I think it's sitting over there. The Ugly Duck call. It's like a Fox Pro, and
Yeah, yeah,
you can do all sorts of stuff with that. But
yeah,
it's I usually don't like to kill coyotes in July because they don't have much for fur. So
yeah.
the hide and the fur is not worth much. But in the name of coyote management, because now,
Right.
dude, they've taken out well over 10 of our chickens over the last couple of years. Well, that's not true. One of the chickens that was a bear, and that was the chicken's fault. And then, but they also took out my girl's cat, this female cat we
Oh,
had, Daisy, and she wandered off. And my wife and I were sitting down at the pond, and we could hear them howling all around us. And sure enough, Daisy didn't come home that night, and so well, I know it was them. But
yeah.
anyway, I
I killed a lot of coyotes in California. We had
did you?
a buddy of mine who we did work on his property. He's a real wealthy dude. He owns, some banks and little financial companies, that type. And and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's got 2,000 acres in Fremont, California, and then down the hill, Rainy's got about 1,000, and then my buddy down at the bottom of the hill has 4,000. It's the road in there is named after his family, but all those people are like, telling me, when I was up there, hey, do you hunt? I see you're wearing camo and all this. I said, yeah, of course. And he's like, man, I'd love to get rid of some of these coyotes we got up here. And I was like, shoot, I'll shoot them for you. He's like, man, I'd pay you. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, I hired a trapper. I asked my guys out here to hunt him, and no one's been able to kill one in the 4 years we've been trying to kill one. I'm looking at it going, how is it possible? I see one on the hill right here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just
man.
shoot it. It seems simple. So the guy, obviously of wealthy means, like says jokingly, I'll give you $250 a dog. And I was like, done. So by the end of that first week, I
I
had
need
four
you need to
dogs on his
introduce me to
porch.
this guy.
Yeah, I had four dead coyotes on his porch. She's like, you telling me I owe you $1,000? I was like, that's correct, sir. And he goes, we got to renegotiate this thing. So I
Yeah,
ended up
that
killing 20 dogs out there. It was
oh
crazy.
shoot.
Yeah.
That's fun, man. I love stuff. That's how I made a living in high school mostly is the farmers would give me $50 a pop to go kill
Yeah, I
coyotes, and
mean,
I
what
love
the heck?
doing
I'll
it,
take what I can.
Heck yeah, man. It's a great way to do it.
I mean, shoot,
And
I would have done it for $10. Don't tell him
right, right. I'd have done it for free, but
that.
yeah, it's fun, man. That's I love when you can mesh work with hunting some way, and like flying around making these big deals for labor in Hawaii, but yet you're out there hunting
Yeah.
at the same time, and so it's a good way to go if you can swing it, man.
Yeah,
Takes
one of the luckiest ones I got is I did actually through National Wild Turkey. They had write a paper, like a paper or a little blurb or whatever of why you'd want to win some turkey calls and conversations with a turkey caller about learning how to call better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that'd be super cool. So I did it kind of like, basically saying, yeah, I want the Rosetta Stone of turkeys, so I could learn the language and the whole thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
wrote it out. I ended up winning the thing, which was really cool. And I got to be hooked up on a phone call. It's going to be a 30-minute phone call with Scott Ellis, who I'm
Oh,
not
I
sure
know.
if you're, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, he's
yeah.
been on the show, man. He's a great
Oh
turkey
yeah, yeah.
caller.
So
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
he's like world champ, both owl and
Mm-hmm.
turkey. And so anyway, I get the call with him. I won some calls from Woodhaven, obviously, and whatnot. And we were on the phone for almost 2 hours. I mean, we were just
Yeah.
shooting the shit and the whole
He
thing. And he's
loves
like,
it. He
man,
loves it.
yeah. And he's like, to your point you just said about my traveling and stuff, he goes, man, if you're ever in Florida, I said, shoot, I got a job in Jacksonville. And he goes, good, come on out and let's get after it. So we
Oh,
went out
man.
and we went, got to do a turkey hunt. I got to sit there and I was staring at him, filming him, listening to him call when I should be watching birds. I'm like, this is
Wow.
unbelievable what this guy can do, man.
That's
So,
fantastic because yeah, he makes some crazy good turkey sounds.
oh yeah.
Everybody listening, forget what I said about signing up for the Packer and Guide School. Just find out how you get Kevin's job. That's the way to go.
I know Brad was just giving me crap yesterday. He thinks I got a horseshoe up my butt because I got drawn for antelope muzzleloader last year, and then I just like I sent you before we started talking, I just got drawn for on a moose hunt this year, and he goes, I don't know if they give preference points to Californians or what the hell's
Dude, I'm
going.
telling you, I put in for moose for 15 straight years in Idaho, and I never drew it. And you flatlanders from California come up and draw it. How long you been in Idaho now? Like 10 minutes?
Almost 5 years, I think.
That's pretty cool, man. Are you going to DIY that elk or not elk moose hunt?
Well, nice thing is actually Brad's buddy,
I know.
Tom, who they've been friends forever and a day. He lives down kind of the way of the zone, I think it's 70-1.
Uh-huh.
And he had put his daughter had got drawn. She was 17 last year. She got drawn and he took her out there. They set up some cameras and in a certain spot, and she was able to put down a nice moose last year. Nothing like super gigantic, but man, a lot of meat. She had a great hunt with him, and he had it left his game camera up there and came back and said, hey, look at some of these pictures we got. There's some nice moose still in this area. One of us got to get drawn. So we all put in for it, and just I don't that horseshoe came into play, and I got drawn today. So he's like, oh my God, it's on, man. It's time to
Oh
go. So
wow.
he's gonna kind of show me around and help me out as much as he can, obviously through his work schedule. But I'm gonna have to put in some time down there for sure.
You should try to get that sucker with a bow, man. I think that'd be
Oh
cool.
man, that would be awesome.
You
I
know,
think I'd be so nervous that it's my only shot, that I finally got drawn on a moose that, oh man,
yeah, well, I
if I
think
screwed that up.
isn't it I don't know, maybe I'm mistaking it for something, but isn't in Idaho if you draw a moose tag, you can archery hunt, and if you're not successful, you just go into the rifle hunt? Or is that
Oh, that I don't know. I'd have to check that one out. I'm
yeah,
not I'm not sure
we
on that one.
we'd better check because I don't want to put that kind of information out if that's not right. But
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
for some reason that's what sticks in my mind.
yeah.
And I haven't even put in Montana because the odds are like even worse.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know,
But no,
I
archery would be a treat. That's kind of my favorite thing. I love doing the archery hunting. It's such a different level, and I've been able to get deer and couple pigs and a bunch of turkeys with my bow, but nothing bigger than that. I mean, your shot
yeah.
placement's got to be pretty good on something hefty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but it does. But the vital area on a moose is a lot bigger than like an elk, or even way bigger than like a whitetail. So
Big time.
you have to be good. You have to be
Yeah,
lethal. But I
yeah.
mean, it's totally doable.
It would be so much fun.
There's some big old lungs they've got.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, my first elk ever, because obviously California is not a thing, and like I'm just figuring stuff out up here still.
Hmm.
Obviously, a lot of territory, a lot of different areas, a lot of people hunting. But I got my cow elk last year with a muzzle loader, which was kind of a treat to take it on that way. But I think to your point, like I think archery is really it's the real testament to getting out there and being what I would say, like true hunting, getting close. You got to creep up.
It's not even like for me, my opinion on that is like I don't think an archery hunter is more of a hunter than like a good rifle hunter. They both have their different challenges. It's just a
Yeah,
different experience, and that's why I
yeah,
like
for
both
sure.
of them. Yeah, bow hunting is a little tougher. However, in North Idaho, I would argue that calling in a bull into bow range is sometimes easier than sitting on a ridge trying to find a bull meandering across with a rifle that you can hit because it's so thick and brushy. They're really tough to
True.
locate, and
Very
so
true.
but dudes do it every year on both of those, and so I just like for me I just like the experience of both of them, and
Yeah. Oh,
you know
don't get me wrong, Jim.
like
I shoot a lot of stuff with my rifle.
oh yeah, me too, man. Me too. In fact, I've got this newer rifle. I'm gonna go sight it in after we're done today, and um take that up bear hunting, and so I like all of it, and I just I had a point I was going for there, and I totally so I could probably get you kind of tuned in with some good spots in North Idaho for elk, man.
Oh, that would be
I
great.
don't hunt over there anymore, and I have all of Brad Penske's spots. I'll just give you all of those. And he don't mind. He says
No, he loves it.
he's got the more the merrier attitude, especially, Californians. Come on up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has a whole. If you pay him, he got a whole book of pins that you can put on your onyx.
I like it, man. Um, so kind of just rounding this out with the banquet coming up, what kind of prizes can people expect with whether it's the live auction or I'm sure there's a silent auction and then there's a drawings, right?
Yeah, so we don't do a silent auction. What we'll do is it's raffles. So we have a couple special ones like games, right? That you can play the games and get a chance to win. Like last year, I think was a really cool 22 pistol, and then usually do a shotgun or a rifle for our hats, where we sell off the hats. There's not a ton of them, usually like 20 to maybe 50 at the very most, depending on how many people are there. And you buy a hat, it puts you into a tag win, draw win for a
Uh-huh.
gun. And then the raffles, there's just a series of items. You go and you buy your raffle tickets and then put them into the different hats. And whoever gets drawn gets those prizes as it goes. Obviously, getting in to the banquet, it's not super expensive. Couples $100 for a couple, and then the tables obviously get more expensive. Youth is I believe is 60, and then 75 for a single. So they make it where it's reasonable to get in. Um, and I mean, yeah,
That's
no, it's
super
actually Jake's.
reasonable.
The Jakes, my bad. The Jakes are 25. Super for the young guys is 17 and under, makes it super cheap. And then 60 for a single, 100 for couple. Sponsor is 300 where they put your name up. And then obviously as you move up in the tables, like I said, 800 up to, the big table, 3,500. But
Yeah.
in the live auction, totally depends on how much people are willing to spend, like we were saying. And it also depends on, certain items are just not as expensive as others. So as you get
Yeah.
into the Argentina one tends to bring in some money because that's a super fun trip to take a couple people out to go do that, massive dove shoot in Argentina.
Oh, heck yeah, that'd be a ball. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it. Compare taking your wife out for $100 for prime rib dinner. You're not going to beat that.
No,
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, even at like Denny's, you
Yeah.
know, it's going to be
Nowadays,
more.
that is
Yeah,
correct.
that is true, right? I mean,
It
that's a
is.
pretty dang good bargain. But some of the things I've gotten out of these, I've won an auction, multiple guns, rifles, pistols,
Yeah.
that safe I mentioned.
Yeah.
Last year, one of them I won this like getaway where we get to go stay in this cabin on a resort on a lake, and
Yeah.
I got to take my boat and use their dock and all that stuff. So there's like. I'm just trying to highlight what the potential is for people. The importance of these. It's really hard to get people going to these banquets, especially because you start getting hammered with one after another, and there's different organizations and whatnot. But there's major advantages to going to kind of a startup chapter
Yeah.
in the first couple of years. And if you guys are in the Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint area and want to hit this banquet up, I know. I don't know what the struggles with turkeys are in North Idaho because I know there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
but they still need the hand of the hunter to step in and kind of help raise those funds and make these conservation efforts happen. And these organizations really are kind of the best way to do that.
Yeah, and we put some money into tagging, um, tagging some birds. So there's actually some tag birds in the panhandle now for turkey, which is kind of cool. There's also some trackers on some that can kind of get a gist of their movements and understanding what their priorities are as the building happens more and more around here and the
Mm-hmm.
growth, to make sure that they still have a sustainable situation. To your point earlier, I mean, coyotes and wolves are, they're wrecking havoc on, deer and elk and turkey populations all over
Mm-hmm.
here. I mean, they even a coyote, they say, to feed their babies a den will kill, 19 fawn or something in a year, some crazy thing I just read. And it's just, yeah, it's wild. So, the more money we can put to understanding it and understanding how to keep them protected. So it's here for, our kids and grandkids and great grandkids is kind of the ultimate goal of these. And to your point, as being a small outfit, not just starting out where we are, but turkeys don't have the hunt following
Yeah.
that deer and elk do in
Here,
particular, or even
here
really
in the
pheasants.
West, you go to
Yeah,
a turkey federation banquet in, like, Georgia, it's going to be
yeah.
a big deal, right?
Kentucky, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
totally different.
Kentucky,
But
yeah, but
out
here
here
you're
it is much
absolutely right.
harder.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
yeah,
no,
we'll be at the Best Western on Apple Way May 16th, and you can buy tickets at the door, or you can go on National Wild Turkey Federation and choose the area and should be able to get in there as well.
is there a specific website where people could find that particular event? Is it just on the main website and just type in chapter?
Yeah, go through the chapter, and I can shoot you a link too. But yeah, it's definitely through there. I mean, obviously a lot of ours is grassroots around here, so we're handing out flyers and talking to people direct. But
Yeah.
having the ability to come on your show, it definitely it broadens the stance of it. But you can go there on, I know National Wild Turkey Federation has, you can go by
Yep.
chapter, or you can look for events in particular,
I
and
just
you should
found
be
it.
able, yeah, you should be able to find it fairly easy, and it'll have the codes. And like I said before, if you go to the tables, if someone's so excited they want to bring a bunch of people and grab a table, it's you click on that QR code that's on the brochure that we have for it too, and they just keep adding different stuff every week and put more cool stuff up there.
Okay, I'll link this chapter website right here in the show notes so people could find that. Let's see,
Great, appreciate
how did I just do that?
it.
Oh, I got off the page. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah,
I
I'll
have to
just
call
link
the
that.
IT department.
I know. Let me call him. Oh, I'm right here. And I'm the worst IT manager you'll ever
You
meet.
usually I call for my son.
Yeah, yeah, I could do that too, but I found it. Here we go. So, all right, so I'm going to link that in the show notes, and you guys listening, if you seriously guys, if you're in like that North Idaho area or Spokane, Washington, or whatever, and you can make it to that event, it should be a really good one, and your odds of coming out of there with great stuff is pretty high. So yeah, man, Kevin, I appreciate you joining me, brother, man.
Thanks for
Hopefully
having me.
this is like maybe a first of many.
I'm down, man.
All
I'll
right,
make
cool.
time for you.
Yeah, let's do it and plan on some bear hunting and
Yes, sir.
drag Brad out there with us and it should be a good time, man. I really appreciate the chat and I really hope again there's a slight chance I can make it down to the banquet. It looks doubtful right now.
Fingers
But
crossed.
if I can, I will certainly be there because I'd like to actually meet you. We've talked a bunch and never actually met in person, and we're not even that far away from each other. So
It's crazy.
yeah, um, so yeah, man. Thanks again for joining me. Anything else you want to tell the audience as to where they can find you or anything about Turkey Federation, anything like that?
Yeah, not National Wild Turkey Federation. Their standard website is look it up on any search engine. You can find it and shows what you can do to help with conservation, or if you want to come to any of the events in an area near you or ours specific. And for us starting out, we're just trying to get more people involved. We'd love to have more people come and join us in this thing as well, and help to spread the word and make it bigger so it becomes even more successful. Would be super great. And outside of that, man, You're a stud. I
Cool.
appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Let my wife know. No. Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Kevin, I appreciate I appreciate your time joining me, man. That was a good conversation. I feel like it was short and sweet, and we'll just keep in touch and go from there, brothers. Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You made it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Western Huntsman and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.